I think Ryan Long absolutely hits the nail on the head when it comes to living without government.
Without the government, I might have to go to downtown Baltimore and get my money stolen the old-fashioned way. Analog theft. What are my other options? I don't even know what opinions I'm allowed to have on Israel and Palestine anymore.
None. You're not allowed to have any, as of course right now. There's some interesting members of Congress making some big bombshell statements that I think are absolutely worth talking about, as we have Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna now coming out and talking about a potential foreign influence in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What in the world are we talking about here? Well, she gives her explanation. We're going to be playing the full clip and getting into details about what I thought was a very interesting conversation to have, specifically when it comes to some of the most controversial issues of our time. Yes, she also got into interdimensional consciousness, things that, the intel agencies have been working on conquering, dominating, and just having godlike authority for themselves. For all of this, as Kash Patel just released an interesting statement that is creating more of a buzz, more of a potential conspiracy here that Anna Paulina Luna was talking about. As I would argue, some people have gone just a little bit too far. I know Ian Carroll just released his. I don't think he released it. I think he's teasing the release of this. I haven't been able to watch it yet, but automatically, I have my own type of insights from this particular event, and I'm going to be talking about it here, especially everything that I've learned, especially just coming from TP USA headquarters myself. As of course, I do believe that there are some legitimate questions to ask here, and then I do believe there's also a lot of other things happening behind the scenes that are more nuanced that I think are important to understand. So I'll get into that and a lot more all in this video. If you appreciate these type of conversations, subscribe, click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all the time that, of course, you spend with us here on this particular channel. Now, let's just get right into it. This is Congresswoman Anna Paulina on the Danny Jones show, where she's talking about foreign government influence. And now the very fact, because like you say that, right? Automatically people are like, that one country in the Middle East, right? And we have seen a lot of theories surrounding that. But she points to a different government, a little more Far East than the one that people are usually used to talking about.
There's been a lot of questions as to whether there was foreign government involvement.
In which one?
In the assassination of Charlie Kirk, right? Okay. So we're going to address these theories right now. Yeah,
there's a lot of theories. First of all, overwhelmingly, the vast majority of people automatically are pointing their finger against Israel, and there's a number of reasons why that is. I saw other people being like, it's Ukraine. He was on the Ukrainian hit list. It was Ukraine. I saw other people being like, it's China. It has to be China. Now, it looks like Anna Paulina is actually suggesting China. Now, there's a lot of different things happening between Bibi. There was a letter. There was pressure to cancel Tucker Carlson from speaking at TP USA events. Charlie Kirk kind of doubled down on that. And Nick Fuentes keeps bringing up how a lot of the right people who bring this up are kind of ridiculous, since they kind of are making this a big conspiracy when Charlie was obviously very favorable towards Israel. Now, whatever you might think about that particular issue, now we have China once again being brought up here.
Back during the ICE riots, do you remember all of that at the beginning of the year? Mm-hmm. A lot of people were like, where are all of a sudden these big violent riots coming from? Who's funding these organizations? We found out that there was a foreign funding tied to an individual by the name of Neville Singham, who's a multi-billionaire. And he made his billions by working with the communist Chinese government. And he would take, and he's not a registered agent, a foreign agent, which is a FARA violation. So
no, anyone working with the Chinese kind of economy is working for the Chinese government. The Chinese government is more of a top-down central control type system where the government, they have the illusion of like a free market, but in reality, the government is involved in everything a major corporation, a major business, a major type of player is doing in China.
So he's taking these millions, funneling it into organizations like the Party of Socialism and Liberation, who then in turn create these very radicalized movements, but they're not even American in theory or funded by American people. They're actually funded by foreign governments.
Leftist liberal organizations that are far more powerful in other places, like in Europe. Now, Donald Trump, even today, the White House spokesperson mentioned individuals like George Soros are being investigated. But what about all the international George Soroses out there that clearly have deep pockets, clearly, especially if they're coming from places like China, have more of a kind of inverse idea of American values where they say communism's the best. Socialism is incredible. It's so awesome to have the government control everything and then give everyone burger. It's so awesome to have top-down control of political leadership of every aspect of your life, which when you're living under is not that fun.
The irony in all this is that Neville Singham, not just to Mamdani's election, so like Jews from Mamdani, but he actually also has ties to funding the Party of Socialism, the Salt Lake City Queer Group, which is now being investigated with former knowledge on whether or not they knew Charlie would be assassinated.
Now, that's the big part here. That's the big kind of accusation here. All of this is Kash Patel just confirmed, according to Redline Report, that there were other conversations with other people with this lunatic foreshadowing and telling people he's going to take the life of Charlie Kirk. Now, from day one, I'm like, I don't think this kid acted alone. And I don't think he did. Now, what she's explaining is probable. We'll tell you why in a little bit. Before we do, we wanted to, of course, tell you about wearechange.shop. We've got a lot of great, incredible products available to you. One of our second best-selling products is our Essential Fatty Fish Oil, EPA, DHA. Do your own homework and research before putting anything into your own body. I thrive off of a diet with fish, but again, I don't like eating fish because a lot of the big ones have mercury, parasites, heavy metals, toxins in them, and I'm like, ah. And most of them are just cooked in like seed oils at all these big restaurants. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm like, fine, whatever. But my body seems to thrive off of fish. I like fish. The best way to get them, sardines. Sardines also usually filled with seed oils or microplastics, especially in their little the little tins filled with all this nonsense and craziness and preservatives and insanity. You want to get, if you're going to do it, right, if you can either buy my product or you could find the glass sardines with 100% sourced, single sourced olive oil. Boom. Great hack for men, especially when it comes to trying to boost your testosterone and overall just personal well-being and health. Small sardines, single sourced olive oil. Most olive oil, multi-sourced, just seed oils. And I'm like, I'm sick of this. And then like, I could only eat sardines for so long. I'm like, I'm just going to get some fish oils. Our fish oils are made from small fish like sardines, and you get a good portion of them for $29. And it's something that I take. I like it. You might too. It might help you. It might not. I don't know. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you need. I don't know what your body thrives off of. My body thrives off of fish. It likes fish. Get some fish. You want some fish? This is the cleanest way to get it. Wearechange.shop. Check it out. Do your own homework. Now, let's get back to this very important conversation. I think I'm going to have to do a separate video about this transcended dimension consciousness video, because that topic alone I could go off on for quite a long time as well. Fascinating, interesting topic. But before going into that, let's play the rest of this clip here, because it does add up, right? And this is why I had my questions. Because there's people beforehand being like, yeah, Charlie's going to get it. Charlie's going to get hit. He's going to get targeted. People foreshadowed. People were saying, yep, Charlie's going to get it. And now whether that's a coincidence or not, I don't know. It's worth investigating. We know that there's a Discord group. We know that there's conflicting statements from Discord. We know that the text message exchange is just weird. It's just a weird text message exchange that you don't expect many people to have. Like, sorry, that's just a weird way of explaining it all. That's just a weird way of conversing and talking that, to me, highlights how it was either one of these two possibilities. I do not know, and I think it's important to say when you don't know, because a lot of people are saying, I know exactly what happened here. You don't, but we could speculate. My speculation is that, one, it could be the government let me know what you think in the chat. One, it could be the government and be like, oh, crap, we need to fill in the gaps for all of our stories. Here it is, convenient. He just did it. We're going to frame him. We're going to eSIM. We're going to hack his eSIM. We're just going to send it off. Well, second theory, other people were involved here, including the furry boyfriend. And they sent this text message as a way to obfuscate his involvement. Because this kid was, according to a lot of sources, very smart. Now, if you're very smart, you're going to text a confession. You're going to text how you're etching everything into the bullets. You're going to text where you left the firearm. You're going to give them an open shut case here. That's going to be very easy. And then you're going to turn yourself in and not cooperate. It's just weird. Now, here she is going on describing this kind of foreign influences. Automatically, people are like, China, ha, 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 not true. But as I argued before, specifically with how everything's been ramping up here, if there was a civil-like strife conflict that would greatly benefit countries like China, that would probably pick a side, double down on it, support it, and send massive amounts of weapons, massive amounts of resources, probably to both sides, so we make America weak. Now, wouldn't they do that in kind of fourth, fifth generational form of way in order to try to dominate and destroy and take down the United States internally from the United States with Americans tearing each other down, destroying each other? Hypothetically, yes. This is what, of course, we talked about when it comes to demoralization. We have Yuri Bezmenov, of course, talking about this to G. Edward Griffin, who detailed this in great length. That I think I might just do another separate video about that.
Who had ties to the shooter. So I do think that there's a foreign funding tie, but the question is which government, and I think it's tied to the Chinese.
Interesting.
I think it's tied to the Chinese. Now, will the Chinese openly meddle this much? I mean, if you look at what's happening on the world stage right now, it does look like there's a big confrontation happening between the United States, Europe, Israel, versus Iran, Venezuela, North Korea, Russia, and China that does business with all of them. China is also kind of waiting there like, look at Taiwan. As the United States is like, oh, look at Venezuela. A lot of drug traffickers there. And then they're looking at Taiwan, like, look at that Taiwan. Taiwan look good. Look, the Taiwan look good. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Anyway, let's continue on with this interesting topic of discussion.
I mean,
was it
like
called? The queer what?
Salt Lake City Queers.
Salt Lake City Queers.
They're being investigated by the FBI. But if you look at the organization and where the funding comes from, I mean, not just them, they had ties to groups in Cuba and they are actually calling themselves terrorists. But not just that, they also have ties to the United Nations. So there's this aspect of a very pro-globalist and then a pro-Marxist movement to really sow discord and divide in this country. And that's why I recently posted on my social media, I was like, check out the bot farms that actually exist. And when you see all this shit talking on Twitter, make sure you're not arguing with the bot, because that's not like a fake thing. It happens. And so we have to realize that social media is being used to kind of stoke this divide. But in the instance of the shooter, Charlie Kirk was almost like a son to President Trump.
Social media widely controlled by the intel agencies of America that predominantly have sown a lot of this division and also allowed the other side to become extremely radicalized while fully censoring the right-wing side and alternative media side and other type of logical kind of people who were saying, I'm independent media. I think we should question this a little bit more than we actually are. Boom, canceled. Life destroyed. So when we're talking about foreign influence, I think the calls coming from inside the house when it looks at this division, and that's what I would counter argue when it comes to this particular type of conversation. And unless there's actually any accountability and justice, and I called for this earlier on the Quartering show, and I said, listen, the FBI doesn't just need to cut their relationships with the ADL and the SPLC, which they did, which I think is great. They need to have a full-on disclosure. What did they do? Who did they ban? Whose bank accounts did they go after? Whose social media accounts did they shut down? Where did they investigate them? How many undercover agents did they send into their lives? How many underhanded, dirty tricks did they use against them? Because they did, and we know they did. They sent undercover agents to InfoWars. That's even admitted public record, okay? Now imagine what else they're doing with other alternative independent media that's rising and doing really great and incredible. The IRS audits, were there any kind of IRS audits that were going on here? Maybe the one that like took away almost everything from me last year, huh? Maybe that has something to do with it. As of course we saw a total full-fledged attack on the right by this government and its intel agencies. Now, China is very easy and convenient to kind of blame here, but I want proof. We can't have, it's like Russian collusion, and it's just believe us. Get out of here. I never believed Russian collusion because the internet, they never provided any documents, and they were liars. Same people. Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We got to go into Iraq. I'm like, it's all so tiresome. Oh, so tiresome.
Don Jr. will tell you was like his little brother.
Right.
Very close to JD Vance, very close to Kash Patel. So if you think for a second that there will be any amount of resource spared in his investigation, you're wrong. Because I know these people and I've seen the way that this administration has worked towards at least issuing some of the darkest secrets. For example, what happened with CIA and the connection to JFK's assassination. I've met with the director.
I've met with a lot of people who were working on that, and they're not happy with it. And listen, I like Anna Paulina Luna, but she also made some other statements kind of like, yeah, guys, you got it. You're going to get the Epstein list. We still haven't. And I got to call it out. You know, I can't be squirrel. Oh, wow. Oh, great. MAGA winning. Oh, I can't. Squirrel. What? I can't do that. You have to be respectful for your own dignity, right? A lot of people don't have dignity.
But to, I think, really take into account that you have the family that is seeing all this stuff out there right now. I hope that they get every single person involved. I definitely think that it's likely that more than one person knew about what was happening because
yes, I agree, especially with the online chatter that we saw.
As a Salt Lake City queer group immediately deleted their page. They're under investigation. There's a foreign funding tie there. For Tyler Robinson to say that Charlie was, hateful and that he just wanted to eliminate his hatefulness, where does that come from, right? Like if you actually listen to the things that Charlie was saying and you don't clip it, you can realize it was a very logical conversation that he was trying to have. If you don't agree with it, it's still not a reason to murder someone.
Right. Well,
yeah. Now, does that mean China was involved? No, they could have just been financing left-wing radical groups. Now, are they involved? Again, I need evidence. Same with the other speculation. Everyone's like, okay, we have circumstantial proof of evidence. Can we get anything just like sourced? Can we get anything that's just like legitimate? Now, so far I haven't seen it, and if I did see it, I would say it right away. Ding 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 ding. Red alarm. We got the proof. Now, probably won't get any proof. There's a lot of speculation. Give me the data. Give me the information. Just release all of it. Kash Patel now confirms Charlie Kirk's assassin had a text exchange with another individual stating, quote, he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and that he was going to do it, confirming that outside persons or groups had knowledge of the plans ahead of the time. Now, who was that group? Was that the same kind of leftist liberal group that Anna Paulina Luna was talking about with funding to China? Are they not releasing this because it involves national security interests that might put us at a potential war footing with China? I don't know. Or is just China just trying to take opportune situation? Now, a lot of people respond, who said he was a genius? Well, there's multiple reports and accounts talking about his SAT scores, him being a special child being extremely smart, right? Because, listen, sending out text messages after committing something, be like, oh, I did this, I did that, I left a gun here, I did engraved bullets here, I did this, and I'm going to... That is the dumbest, stupidest thing that anyone could do. Now, again, there's a possibility that he was just nervous and made some stupid mistakes. That's also a possibility. Now, a lot of people just don't have a lot of trust now in the FBI, mainly because of what happened to Epstein. And that's the real truth of it, right? We can't be lied to so blatantly and so obviously. Be like, yeah, he took himself out. No blackmail, no extortion operation, go away, weakling. Stop talking about this. Trust the plan. I'm like, I can't. I can't. Now, listen, I have my own questions. Some people are saying he was an autist with a 4.0 plus GPA. People are saying that doesn't mean he's smart. It means he just memorized whatever was in front of him, no different than memorizing patterns or Final Fantasy 13 speedrun. You can thank his parents for focusing in school, not video games. Again, I don't know. I just want all the data. I want all the information. I think we have a lot of speculation, and I know like Ian Carroll's like, he just released this saying, more and more evidence is pointing squarely at TPUSA, and it's getting spicy. This whole moniker that like Erica Kirk is not grieving is like such a misnomer. It's such just a wildly bad take. Everyone has their own way of grieving, being at TPUSA, seeing the situation there. There are a lot of people grieving there. There are a lot of Christian-loving people there. The organization, right? Yes, people don't understand. Charlie was a workhorse. Charlie was the man behind that organization. That organization is now facing an extremely difficult time dealing with their main head guy that was running everything not being there anymore. You're telling me that they did this deliberately? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense with me. Being there, speaking to the people there, looking the people in the eyes, getting to know the people there. A lot of them are God-fearing people. A lot of them are grieving. A lot of people are dealing with very heavy, serious situations. To kind of insinuate, it's TPUSA that did it now. And I'm like, come on, man. And again, who knows? He might. I give everyone the benefit of that, but I just don't believe this on face value. I'll listen to the video when it comes out, but also like this is kind of a poor way to get people's attention on it. And I think there's better ways to make arguments or even hypothetically question stuff. That's just me, right? Now Nick has his own personal takes on it that are different, and now there's like Nick versus Candace and Tucker and Ian Carroll, and they're all kind of going at it. Candace also kind of said, hey, his closest friends are staying silent. I mean, Andrew and Posobiec just last week came out and like, we have questions. We want them answered. Let's get these questions answered. And they didn't even hit back. I think Peak Prosperity also released a very good video. Like a lot of people, I had my own theory about what happened with the bullet. He did a case-by-case kind of analysis showing that the official, the sounds are kind of weird, but the bullet being lodged in does make sense. Now, again, I want full transparency, full accountability. If you want that too, get this video out there, share this video. Peak Prosperity did a good video showing how, yeah, the bullet actually was inside of his body, counter to popular belief. Now, exactly what caliber, who exactly, what kind of grain, I need all that information. Release all of it. That's all we could do. What do you think actually went down? What do you think the involvement is of the Chinese or the Israelis? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for checking out wearechange.shop. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys supporting this independent media broadcast. Thank you so much for you guys doing that. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.